Can you hear me?
Yes, please.
In one of the point you had mentioned regarding conferences and delegations.
Yes.
Can you deliberate more what type of conferences are we talking of and what type of delegations usually go out?
You see, there are multiple conferences which take place. The Indian Parliament is part of the International Parliamentary Union. Conferences of that. We are also part of the Commonwealth Parliamentary Association. These are the international conferences which take place where nominations are made by the Honorable Chairman and the members go by turns to these conferences. Then we also have parliamentary friendship groups which go to different countries as a matter of exchange program. And these are so far as the international segment is concerned. And so far as domestic segment is concerned, we have the speakers conference and many a times other conferences domestically are organized. The conference and protocol section also deals with the assistance to members so far as their private visits are concerned in case of visa letters or diplomatic passports are concerned. So basically it is that.
Okay, my next question is regarding committees. I could see that in all the committees there are 10 members of Rajya Sabha and 21 from Lok Sabha, each committee. So is the tenure of each committee for 1 year or more than that?
The normal tenure of the committee is 1 year and the members could get renominated to those committees also. But otherwise it is for 1 year.
So the reports I was seeing in last couple of weeks in the parliament, some reports are being submitted by committees. So it is at the end of the tenure that each committee submits a report, right?
You see, each committee with the consent of the members of that respective committees, they choose areas of what they would like to examine and depending upon the examination of witnesses and their study visits, they kind of prepare in nutshell what are their recommendations or suggestions so far as that particular area is concerned relating to a particular ministry. And what you have seen being laid on the table of the House is either the reports or the action taken on those reports by the government.
Oh. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
So may I?
Yeah, please.
In case any foreign government through their consulate or embassy contact the MPs directly, not through government, what is the procedure followed in case of an exchange program, but not if it's not through government, but if we are contacted individually?
I think Mahesh.
They should write to Secretary General Rajya Sabha informing about the conference and invitation and seek political clearance about that. Once political clearance is obtained, they can go and participate in that conference.
So if that's the case, if it's a foreign funded by a government,
Yeah.
is it, for example, if it's a US government funded, or in otherwise, if it is a private thing, for that also do we take clearance?
Yeah.
For everything. Thank you very much.
The political clearance would be required.
Sir, as far as the funding is concerned, besides political clearance, you also need a clearance from the Ministry of Affairs for accepting the foreign hospitality. So if
The
your visit
FCRA Act is there, Foreign Contribution Regulation Act.
No, I'm not saying about the funding for anything. I'm saying about this exchange program if it happens, if it is by, like for example, if it is by a US government. If it is a exchange program, if it's a delegation, what we are supposed to do?
Ma'am, normally all these exchange programs are at an institutional level. But what you are referring to is some individual invitations being extended. Then in that case, the matter is brought to the knowledge of the Secretary General and a process is there whereby we kind of consult the Ministry of External Affairs and get the political clearance, and then once the go-ahead is given, then further participation can be there.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yes, please.
Sir, is there any committee for the development of literature?
Pardon me?
Is there any committee for literature?
Not on literature per se, but I think it would be mostly being dealt by Ministry of Culture and Education. Vimal
Yeah,
ji.
Transport and Tourism Committee.
Huh?
Transport and Tourism and Culture Committee.
And Culture.
And Culture.
Thank you, sir.
But there is nothing separate on
No,
literature.
No, that is not.
For art and literature, there is no separate committee.
It is Transport, Tourism and Culture.
And Culture. It is a department related committee basically.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yes, please.
Is there a sort of restriction that a member of parliament can become member of one standing committee and one consultative committee only? Or it can be multiples if there is a vacancy depending upon the interests?
No, sir, there is no restriction about the members' nomination to the one of the committees being serviced by the House and the another committee, that is consultative. Consultative committee is mainly is being handled by the department or the concerned ministry. So there is no restriction.
सर
हाँ जी.
सर पहले भी आपसे बात हमने की है कि हम हिंदी बोल तो लेते हैं पर पढ़ नहीं पाते, इंग्लिश जानते नहीं, और जब पटल पर वो पेपर आते हैं वो हिंदी में आते हैं और इंग्लिश में आते हैं, हम वो दोनों ही नहीं जान पाते, हम वो पढ़ेंगे नहीं तो उस पर बात कैसे करेंगे। हमने पहले भी आपको किया कि ये हमारी समस्या है, इसका समाधान चाहिए।
इस विषय पे आपने मेरे से व्यक्तिगत रूप से भी बात की है, हम देखते हैं इसको आपको की समस्या को किस तरह से हल किया जा सकता है। बट अभी तक की जो प्रणाली है वो हिंदी और अंग्रेजी की तो है ही है, बट जहां आप अपना वक्तव्य सदन में रखना चाहते हैं तो अगर पूर्व सूचना हो तो आप अपने मातृभाषा में भी रख सकते हैं अपना वक्तव्य, और उसका जो ट्रांसलेशन है वो हम उपलब्ध कराएंगे। बट आपने दूसरी बात जो कही कि लाइक लिटरेचर जो भी आ रहा है वो हिंदी या इंग्लिश में आता है, वो एक अलग विषय है।
तो संविधान में ये व्यवस्था है कि पार्लियामेंट का जो काम है वो हिंदी और इंग्लिश में होगा, तो लेकिन अगर आप किसी भाषा अपना कोई वक्तव्य देना चाहते हैं तो जैसा एसडी साहब ने कहा हमारे यहाँ इंटरप्रिटेशन की फैसिलिटी तो अवेलेबल है, बट ऐसा ना तो संभव है ना ऐसा कोई संवैधानिक प्रावधान है कि जिसके अंतर्गत हम पूरी 22 भाषाओं में जो है आपको पेपर ट्रांसलेट करा के दे सकें।
हम 22 भाषाओं की बात नहीं करते, हम तो अपनी भाषा की कि हमें चाहिए कि हमें जो नहीं देंगे तो हम कुछ नहीं कर पाएंगे, ये तो समस्या है, हमने बता दी है हमारी समस्या है, आपने समाधान करना है, हमें पंजाबी में जो वो तो
फिर सर एक आपको सेक्रेटरियल असिस्टेंस के लिए एक अलाउंस मिलता है
जी,
हर मेंबर को मिलता है, आपको कोई ऐसा व्यक्ति अपॉइंट करना पड़ेगा जो कि जो हमारे यहाँ से हिंदी या इंग्लिश पेपर में आ रहे हैं, भाषा में आ रहे हैं, उसको पंजाबी भाषा में ट्रांसलेट कर सके।
वो तो कर देंगे, हम करा लेंगे, जब पटल पर आता है हम उसकी बात करते हैं, वो कैसे करेंगे?
पटल पे तो आपको बोलना है ना।
नहीं वो आप
जो
पेपर देते हैं ना आपको,
वो भी
हम उसकी बात करते हैं। वो
Sir, Swamiji is telling very serious issue. It should be addressed because lot of persons unable to know the documents and language. So the problems are there. You should address the thing. How it will?
We have definitely taken note of the problem expressed by the honorable member, but I was just trying to make you aware of the system as it operates now. That in case a statement is to be made on the floor of the House, and if we have a prior intimation of that, I mean say in any of the 22 languages, we can make provision for its simultaneous interpretation. That is there. But his point was more relating to the papers submitted on the floor of the House, laid on the table of the House. he wanted it to be available to him in his own language. For that, at present, the only facility which we have is that the secretarial assistance, which is for which the allowance is given. I mean, so that is the only manner. But we will definitely try and explore as to how best it can be taken care of.
That he raised a very serious
undoubtedly.
issue. You please address it. But this 40,000 rupees secretarial, that is not a matter. That is another matter. That type of suggestion is not good, I think.
Anyway, any other query or clarification?
सर मेरा एक सवाल था कि पहली बार निर्वाचित होकर आए हुए सदस्यों के लिए क्या कोई इंट्रोडक्टरी स्पीच या इस तरह से पार्लियामेंट में कोई प्राविधान है कि पहली बार कोई सदस्य अगर सदन में पहली बार बोलने जा रहा है तो उसे कोई स्पेशल टाइम या कुछ ऐसा?
उसमें आपको जान के खुशी होगी कि जो नवनिर्वाचित सदस्य हैं जब पहली बार बोलते हैं तो उनको वो मेडन स्पीच भी मतलब उनको वो दर्जे में आती हैं और उसके लिए थोड़ा समय अधिक रहता है. आई थिंक 15 मिनट है.
15 मिनट मैक्सिमम सर. 15
मिनट है. तो वो डाटा भी हमारे पास में रहता है कि किनकी पहली ये मेडन स्पीच है. एंड नॉर्मली हम जो भी चेयर में उस वक्त हैं उनको अवगत कराते हैं कि लाइक ये पर्टिकुलर सदस्य की ये मेडन स्पीच है.
थैंक यू.
Maiden speech.
Member is requesting for a draft speech if it is provided by the secretary.
नहीं. He just wants to know कि like whether any time. I think if I can get it right, you asked about the time.
So one more clarification on that, if I may ask. Now, what category or under what does this maiden speech come under? Like, if we speak anything for the first time, would it be considered as maiden speech? Or if it is 0 hour, would it be considered? Or on bill? Or is there anything particular like which will be considered as maiden speech?
Madam, when you are participating in a proper discussion, 0 hour and special mentions are not the matter on which your speech will be considered as maiden speech, because the time given for 0 hour and special mentions is maximum 3 minutes. So when you participate in a discussion either on a bill or on a topic other being discussed by the parliament, that will be taken as a your speech in that matter will be taken as
mostly it will be on bill.
And some other discussion. For example, we are going to have a discussion on price rise. If you are participating
like that.
in that,
Okay.
that will be considered as.
Thank you.
Sorry, one more question. As she was saying regarding maiden speech, let us say I am the discussion being held is on price rise. But then that maiden speech of 15 minutes has to be on price rise, or we can discuss some other topic also?
It has always to be on the topic concerned.
So that 15 minutes has to be on that same topic, but you are just getting extra time.
Exactly.
So is there any place in parliament or any discussion where we can discuss more than one topic in that 15 minutes?
Not that way. I mean, then it would depend upon the device which you are using, isn't it?
Every year there are 2 discussion takes place in the House. One is the motion of thanks on the President address. When the President comes and addresses the members of Parliament, then members of Parliament convey their thanks to the President through a proper discussion, motion on a motion. That is a matter where you can say anything under the sun, including the sun. Same way when you are discussing on the general budget, that time also you can raise and mention many other issues.
So your suggestion is that maiden speech should be used in these two places.
You can't wait till that period. Now the next.
No, but the president's speech is going to come soon. But we can wait as long as we want, right?
That's your choice, sir. That's
okay.
If no more queries are there, then I think we can conclude.
Sir, one question is here.
Please.
If we have any, if we conduct any personal visit, then also this political clearance is necessary to the if you visit the abroad. For any foreign visit, personal visit, also political clearance.
Political clearance will be required.
Thank you very much, sir. as we go on with the program, I'm sure many of your queries that you have will be addressed by the individual session and the panelist. Thank you, sir, for that. So we have the next speaker for the next session.